With that said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Faisal here. Faisal is our presenter for today. Faisal, I believe you should be ready to go. Are you there for us?
Yeah, good evening, Charles. Good evening, good morning, everyone.
All right.
You can hear me?
I will
Yeah.
go ahead and hand the show over to you. It is all yours.
Okay, thank you. So you're able to hear me, Charles?
Yes, I can hear you fine. No good. You're good.
Okay, I'll share my screen.
And while you're doing that, I just saw Robert cannot hear anything. Just if anyone does have audio problems, be sure whatever VPN you have is shut down, and then just refresh your browser. You should be able to go. Okay, fantastic, Robert. Glad to see you're good to go on your end. And Faisal, it's all yours.
Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. So today is the day 2 for our workshop with Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA. Today, what we are going to discuss is about. Yesterday, we saw how things work. Today, we are going to talk about how things look like when they are not working, when they are broken, and how to use the tools available in the Strata Cloud Manager and ZTNA to assess the problem, to troubleshoot it, to diagnose it, to find where which part of the solution is broken and how to fix it. So the majority of the day, this is mostly about troubleshooting and monitoring and the tools available to facilitate it. And we will also discuss about the frequently asked questions by users related to ZTNA, um, where mostly these are the common questions asked. Probably they are not familiar with the product. So I've summarized all the commonly asked questions related to ZTNA to clarify the concepts, whichever is not clear to them, and how to use it, and what are the limitations and restriction, what are the best practice to follow, and also I've included in today's session the most important documents which you should refer to with regards to how to troubleshoot, as well as to understand how to configure the ZTNA related configuration in Strata Cloud Manager. So today we'll do a recap of what we did yesterday. So before we start into this, um, yeah, today is about monitoring and troubleshooting. So before I start the session, I'll log into Strata Cloud Manager and show to you how the concepts we covered yesterday. Just a recap of the core concepts, um, core items within the ZTNA, how to configure the ZTNA, and then we'll move our shift back to the slide deck, discuss about the monitoring tools, and then have a demo, and then we'll discuss about the troubleshooting tools, and have a demo on related to troubleshooting. Okay. So just to recap, we went to configuration. And we have the ZTNA connector related configuration under the configuration submenu. Here we have the connector groups, we have the connectors, we have wildcard targets, FQDN targets, IP subnets. And if you're using discovered targets by connecting to the auto discovery facility available in ZTNA, you will see your discovered targets. So as a construct, right, we have first we create a connector group, then we have the connector created. The connector itself uh, has very basic config. It is mapped to a connector group associated with the connector group, and then we have the status available in this UI, which says what is the location it is connected to, what is the status of the tunnel, what status of control plane, and that's some of the tools available, which we discuss in detail in troubleshooting session. All right, so this is the connector, and this is a connector group, and in the connector group you will have the list of connectors, a list of IP subnets, list of FQDN targets, and the settings for the connector group itself, whether you're using auto scale or preserve user ID. So this is just an overview of the configuration we have seen. And today what we're going to do is expand this expand this knowledge towards how to monitor your ZTNA and how to troubleshoot it. Okay, let's go back to the slide deck. The first option we have, first tool we have in Strata Cloud Manager is the Insights. Previously, it was called Monitor. Under the Insight menu, we have an submenu called Data Center. So we have, this is the icon for, let me pull out the laser pointer. Okay, so you see over here, this is where the insights menu is. Under the insights, you have the data center, and when you select the data center, you see service connections, ZTNA connectors, and Prisma SD-WAN. So within the ZTNA connector landing page, you will have a summary of what you have configured, the total connector group, the total wildcards, the total target. Within the connector group, you would see the connectors when you click on it. So we'll go through one by one option available to us. So when you go inside the total connector group, you'll see the list of connectors, whether it is up or down, which location it's connected to. Within this, all these are connectors which are part of a single connector group, and ZTNA CON IP001. This is the connector list within the connector group. Okay, and we have a small pop-up, small button here, which is called an action button. So when you click on this action button, you would be taken to this screen. So you see you have two action buttons, one for ZTNA connector for IP, ZTNA connector for FQDN. Then we have two connectors, one is down and one is up. When you click on the action icon here against this connector, you will be taken towards this specific connector, um, which and it will give you the following statistics: CPU, memory, and bandwidth. So in real time, you can pick up a different filter option or add filter in this one, and then navigate and see how is your ZTNA connector performing. Is there any spike in bandwidth? This is the overall bandwidth consumption throughput of the ZTNA connector, the CPU and utilization, as well as the memory utilization. The second one is the while the okay the if you look at this total connector group, we have something called, I mean, within the ZTNA connector, we have the connector group, we have the wildcard. Okay, under the wildcard, again, same. You will have the list of wildcards that has been configured within the connection group, and you will have these two buttons. So this gear icon is the settings, which will take to the configuration page of wildcard target, and the action button will give you the bandwidth utilization of the entire wildcard, and it will give you like a chart. So here the chart is filtered for 15 minutes, and it will show you how the utilization is currently. And if you scroll your mouse, you take your mouse on top of on top of the chart, you will see the measured bandwidth and the timestamp. During that timestamp, what is the measured bandwidth? Okay. So next one, you have the wild FQDN targets. Then under the FQDN targets, you have the list of all the individual FQDNs which are configured and discovered through wildcard. And again, so if you go into this action icon and the gear icon, we have two icons. Gear icon is meant for configuring the configuration page of this FQDN target, and over here you will have uh, a, a, an overview of the bandwidth consumption for your specific FQDN app. And lastly, for the IP subnet. Okay, so all these options. So now this is a very simple deployment where we have only one target and one FQDN target and one IP subnet target. If you have a large scale deployment with multiple connector group, you can apply those filters and accordingly bring up the charts and then see, okay, there was some problem here. There is a gap in the bandwidth consumption during this time stamp, and then you can go back and do the investigation. So this is more of a monitoring tool post deployment, how to manage your connector and what is happening within your ZTNA targets, especially IP subnet, FQDN wildcard targets, and how much of bandwidth each apps are consuming, how much of throughput and CPU and memory is the connector utilizing. All these data is available within the insights. Okay, so the ZTNA configuration, yesterday we discussed. Today I'm just going to skim through this. We just reviewed it before we started this workshop today. We have this all under this configuration icon, ZTNA connector. There is a star here. You can add it to your favorites and then access it from your favorites menu. And this is the configuration part of ZTNA connector. So the first insights part we saw under the monitoring is more about the day two operation of your uh, deployment. And today, this is for more about building your configuration, deploying your connectors, deploying your targets. We discussed this This was discussed in detail yesterday. So this is nothing but our list of connectors and all the options and knobs available within the configuration to view what is being deployed. So next is the log viewer. Yesterday we did analyze two types of traffic flows, one for with the FQDN target and one with an IP subnet, one using an agent-based access, another one using the agentless access. So today, uh, in addition to the traffic logs for ZTNA related traffic logs, we have system logs available. This is very useful when you are troubleshooting a tunnel outage, tunnel down issues to understand what is going on. First thing to look for is what is the severity of these logs. Are they all informational? So which is a good sign. We don't have any errors or any problem. So the event is mapped to the component. So the component, I know that it's a ZTNA connector by looking at the event component. It's a PA connector event component, and you can search based on the event. If you have multiple connectors, you'll have a unique component ID for each one of them. And then over here, you can see the PA service IP to which the tunnel is getting built up, and this is the local IP of your network where the connector resides. Okay. So if the tunnel is down, whether it's the shared secrets are not matching, whether there was any configuration change from the controller, or whether there was a policy applied on your firewall, or whether the service provider started to block the traffic for some reason. So basically, these logs are pretty useful once you deploy, once you go live, and then you see suddenly you do have a problem. You have the tunnel is not coming up from a specific connector from a specific location. All these challenges are more during the initial deployment because the challenge with the ZTNA solution is it's a virtual appliance which is either in your data center or in the cloud, and deployment of this is managed by different specialist groups within the organization. The virtualization specialist, the cloud specialist, and once they deploy, then we need to coordinate with multiple specialists who handle your security portion of your network. So virtualization, security, and network portion all have to sync, and the connector needs to marry to the environment. So during this initial deployment, there are some challenges. We'll go through those challenges, but post deployment, it's more about monitoring and understanding the performance issue, the tunnel outage, why the tunnel went down, what was happening in the network, or what was the change within the Prisma access that triggered it. Was there a maintenance in Prisma access which caused it? So all these things, these tools will help us understand. Okay, so this is more on this is the flows, traffic flows which we saw yesterday, and this is the detailed breakdown of what we see within a session. And right now we'll start into the ZTNA connector SEM troubleshooting tools. Before we get into this one, I'll show you a small demo about all the things we discussed. So this is the insights icon. We have in the insights icon, we have a data center option available. So this is the star, add to favorites. Once you add it, it will be listed under here, data center. Okay. So it says insights, operational, Prisma SASE data center. So here, when we go here to the data center, we have three components: service connection, ZTNA connector, Prisma SD-WAN. Right now, one connector is down. The total bandwidth consumption trend is shown here, 1 Mbps. Just a couple of hours back, I powered up my connector and generated some traffic for the demonstration today. So these are the GP clients connecting to the ZTNA apps, private apps. Okay, and now once you click on ZTNA connector, this is the landing page. You have a summary of all the different targets and the connector group. And when you click on the connector group, you'll have this list of connector groups available within the tenant, and this will this will directly take you to the configuration page from the insights page. So you can there are two ways to go to configuration page. You can either start from here, or from the insights you can go and view what is happening there inside the connector group. So after this, we have the connectors. So we can see here the connector status. So when you click on the connector status here, you will have the list of connectors within the connection group. So this is the workflow. So you go to the insights, you go to the ZTNA data center. Within the data center, you have ZTNA connector. In ZTNA, under the ZTNA connector, you have the connector groups. You click on the connector group, and then from the connector group, you can list down the number of the connectors and their status. Okay, and here the action available is only one. We don't have a settings gear icon here. We only have an action icon. So when you click on it, it will display the memory utilization, CPU utilization, bandwidth utilization, and connector availability. Okay, so you can have a filter applied for 15 minutes to see the last 15 minutes what is going on in the box. All right, so this is the ZTNA IP device metrics. This is the connector group to which the connector belongs to. So once you close it, you can go back to this menu. Then we have the wildcards. We have one wildcard, and then you click on the gear icon here, and then see if you can see that it has been down. This is in Singapore local time. And if you click for the last 3 hours, you can see that the connector was off. The app bandwidth consumption for this wildcard. Okay, so, and similarly, it applies. We have the same options with FQDN as well as with IP subnet. So click on the action icon, and you'll be able to see the utilization. Okay, so this is the insights menu, and then we have seen the configuration part of the ZTNA connector, and now we're going into the look into the troubleshooting tools available.